Save the Semantics, episode 59. It is February 2nd, 2019. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I just talk about whatever's on my mind, whatever I have going on in my life, maybe, what kind of media I've been consuming, that kind of thing, If you can't tell, it is windy. Or maybe you can't tell. Maybe that's a good thing, Sometimes when I'm recording, right now I'm walking and talking, which is not the best idea, considering that as time has shown in previous episodes, walking and talking does not lead to great audio quality. So we'll see how this turns out. Right now I'm trying to find a spot where I can record this in peace and quiet without getting disturbed by people, And I just don't think that's going to happen today. Today is just not going to be my day. I know it. Storms are brewing. It's coming up later today, which is why I kind of wanted to get out and do a little episode here. Just get some things off my chest and whatnot, And we'll see how it goes. Had to pause there for a second. The wind started to pick up, and I was getting all misconstrued. It is windy, wet, cloudy. It's just not great weather, But I can't really complain because I know that in the Midwest it's freezing temperatures. People in Chicago are frozen right now, Minneapolis and whatnot. So I can't really complain. It's going to be stormy. Some roads are going to get cracked and wet and whatnot, but at least I'm not going to have to deal with snow and ice storms and freezing temperatures. So I'll try not to take that for granted for sure. This is just going to be me just rambling while I take a little stroll. Nothing too crazy going on at the moment. It's about... What time is it right now? There's a car that's going to pass me by just a second. It's very atmospheric, How's it going? And here's the wind picking up again, so I'm just going to take a quick pause. Jesus fucking... Yeah, you see, this was a terrible idea. But what did I want to talk about? I'm getting so distracted by my surroundings, One day I'm going to have like a studio where I don't have echo, because the thing is, the reason I record outdoors is because if I do record in my room, there's going to be an echo, and I'm going to hate that. I think it's just not going to sound very good. Because it's just the way my room is constructed. I've tried it before and it just doesn't sound good. So I just don't have very many options at my disposal. So this is what I got to work with at the moment. It's a budget, it's a podcast on a budget, basically. But yesterday I co-hosted the morning show. Went all right for the most part. Started off my morning kind of rough though. I woke up and I tried to pour myself a container of coffee, and I just spilled it all over the floor. And when you make those types of just like very, what's the word? It's such an avoidable mistake, and it's just your own. It's just something that it's so easily avoidable, and you just want to beat yourself up for it because it's just such a dumb little mistake, And then it just feels like it ruins your day in a sense, At least that's how I felt, The morning got better as it went along, but just a little bit of a mistake. What is the word? When you're just clumsy, you make a clumsy mistake. Those are the worst. I think if you make like a huge mistake, of course that's gonna be devastating. But when it's just a little clumsy mistake, you're like, God, oh my God, it's so avoidable. If I just had paid attention, and if I was not just sweeping my arm a way or another, if I had the container just, maybe like a few inches forward on the table or whatever, then I wouldn't have spilled the coffee all over the goddamn carpet, It's just that kind of thing, right? It's completely, it's avoidable, and it's dumb, and you feel stupid for doing it. So that's sort of how my morning went. Everything else was fine, though. Started to rain. The rain started to pick up yesterday night, and I know it's gonna continue going today. Hopefully it doesn't start raining while I'm recording, but I think by the time I'm finished, I should be good to go. What did I want to talk about? I just wanted to talk, I guess. I just wanted to talk to myself. Really, that's sort of the reason I wanted to set forth out, do a little episode here and there, and see how things went. Do you guys remember DJ Khaled? It's not like he's completely forgotten by any means. He's not dead. No, he's still around. I just came to mind that I remember a few years ago. I remember the whole, or was it a few years ago? It might be 4 or 5 years ago by now. Several years ago, where I was watching his Snapchat. A bunch of people were watching his Snapchat. He was like, it felt like he was one of the first like major celebrities who took upon Snapchat to record their just record their daily content, just like a daily kind of vlog. There's another one. All those like memes came up from. He was sort of the original celebrity like Snapchat meme. And then eventually people got sick of it because it was the same shit over and over and over. And I'm wondering, like, if I do follow him again, if I just decide to take a look at his postings on Snapchat, I wonder if he's changed it up at all. Has he changed up the flow of the way he records his content? Does he change up the way he because his day just is the same thing over and over again. Sometimes he goes out and does a show, or he hangs out with like NBA players or other artists and stuff like that, but most of the time it's just him hanging out at his mansion, right? It's like, I'm gonna overwater my plants. I'm gonna get a haircut every single day. I don't know what. I just remember him at least like 3-4 times a week he got a haircut. I'm just like, that's just overkill. Like, how fast does your hair grow? Like, my hair grows relatively fast. I get like a haircut maybe like every 2 or 3 months, 2.5, 3 months, I guess. But the dude gets a haircut like every fucking like at least 2 or 3 times a week, which is ridiculous. Like, man, like, do you really? I get you gotta look good and shit, but like, he's also on the treadmill and stuff. But it doesn't seem like the man's lost any weight. I don't know. He's just doing his thing, I guess. But what I was wondering at the moment was, if I did go back, I wonder if he was doing any of the same shit that he was doing, like, from the last 4 years ago, when the last time I looked at his Snapchat story. Does he still do the same exact shit every single day? Because I know he has a kid now, so maybe that might have changed up the flow of his life. Maybe he's recording his kid growing up, and exposing him to the world, or exposing the world to him, rather. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny to think about. It's also funny to think about the fact that, like, you're just recording every single aspect of your life. I mean, well, not every single part, obviously, but it was almost every single part of his life, because, he took selfies of himself after taking a shower and shit like that, and he still probably does that, but I'm just like, wow, like, can you just... We know everything about you, we know every single aspect about you. We know how many rolls you have on your belly. We know how many haircuts you get every week. Like, how much more do we really need to know, right? We know who he hangs out with and shit like that. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. And this probably ties in with other comments that I've made about people just recording daily vlogs and that kind of thing. I don't know how popular vlogs are nowadays. They must be like relatively they're still probably still around. I don't exactly know who it appeals to, but like daily vlogs are just the thing that just doesn't, I just don't think it's really, it's not healthy for one, but people are going to make their money somehow. If people are going to watch someone live their lavish, not even, just lavish or above average life, I guess that's something that people are looking forward to, in a sense. I don't know. That was just something that I had in mind. Had my first exams this week. Nothing too interesting there. I did all right. I was basically the I'm not meaning to brag, but I was basically just the class average. My score was the class average for at least two of the tests that I took, which I thought was kind of funny. Even what they say, like C's get degrees, and B's also get degrees. So, whatever works, I guess. Have I mentioned how fast time is going? Yeah, I have mentioned that. I've mentioned that every single episode, But we are already in February, which is crazy. Turning 21 next week, which is also crazy. Don't really know how to feel about that. It's gonna be interesting for sure. I'll probably make a recording on my birthday, I think, and discuss how I feel. I'm probably not gonna feel any different. A 1 week is not gonna do anything unless I experience something completely drastic. But yeah, this is gonna be the final week where I can't do. How do I say it? This is gonna be the final week where I technically can't do anything that I couldn't do as an adult. I think except buying a gun and running for office. Those are the two things that I can't do when I'm 21. But other than that, everything else is just, it's all game, I guess. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it is what it is. There's not really. It's just kind. I know age is kind of arbitrary in a sense, but it's also not. It also has some significance to it, I feel. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not really gonna. I think. Hopefully, I don't make any weird changes in my life. Maybe like immediately after I turn 21, I'm gonna turn into an alcoholic, right? That kind of thing. That's gonna be funny. That was not funny at all. This is a stupid ass comment. Looks like it's starting to kind of get watery over here. But I think I'm gonna keep going for a little bit. Another thing that I've noticed recently, I think this is just more in general, but is the fact that it's fucking raining. I'm gonna pause for a second, and I'll get back. All right, I got out of the rain for a little bit. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the thing that I've kind of noticed is that there's just I've probably talked about this too, but whenever I do the radio show, I discover new music, which is great. And recently, like, there's this one song that I listened to yesterday that my co-host played. He's older than me, and he kind of grew up listening to music in like the late 70s and 80s and whatnot. He's been doing the show for like 30 years. But there's this one song by this band called the Waybacks, and they have this essentially it's like a cover song. It's like a mashup song of all these older songs, like by like Jimi Hendrix, who else? Black Sabbath, I think. There's a song from Deliverance, which is a movie I haven't seen. I heard the movie's like kind of fucked up though. But I've just noticed that like there's just so much. I realized that there's still so much more music that I still haven't like touched upon. It's not like a crazy idea by any means, but like there's still these famous musicians where I haven't really like even really explored their music. Of course I know I've heard the names before, but even people like Jimi Hendrix I haven't really like fully engaged with, and I think there's just like for me it always depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm in the mood where I want to listen to music, or sometimes I'm in the mood where I just listen to the same shit over and over again. That's just something that I tend to do. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but if there's like a specific song that you're like, oh shit, this song is like really catchy, or just like it just kind of hooks with you, or you're just kind of really enjoying you're just enjoying that song, so you just keep listening to it on repeat. And that song, it was also the song that I'm referencing by the Waybacks, which is called, what the fuck is it called? I've just listened to it like an hour ago. And it also has what the fuck was it called? They have it references like Moving On, Over, and these other songs. I'll have to bring it up later. But there's just so much more media too that I haven't really experienced, And I'm not saying that like you're necessarily missing out if you're not watching a specific movie or if you're not listening to a specific artist or anything like that. But I'm just like, it's just like, okay, I still think of myself as like I have some knowledge of music. It's just not very deeply ingrained. In a way, I still feel that even though I'm a disc jockey, DJ, whatever, for a radio station, I still need to. I'm still very limited in terms of my knowledge of music and stuff like that, and even like movies as well. Back in like high school and stuff, I sort of thought of myself as sort of like a movie buff, because I watched like a few, not even that many, just like a few obscure movies, and there's other movies that I reference to that I still haven't seen. I used to do a column for our senior year. I did a column for our high school newspaper where I wrote about movies and stuff like that. Maybe like once a month, probably one of the easiest classes I took. It was pretty chill though. But I think it's like, I'm still so limited. And you realize that when you stumble across all these other like content creators on like YouTube and stuff like that, where you're like, oh, I don't know shit. And in some ways, I feel that way when I'm like listening to all of these different artists. There's tons upon tons of artists, bands that are incredible, and you're just like, wow, this is just something that I haven't even like come across before, And I think if you have someone that is able to provide, is able to show you new music, you should definitely listen to it. Even if it's not really your type of music, I think that just kind of, broadening your perspective in a sense and listening to different music can sort of like, it can lead to new, maybe it's something where it leads to a new passion. Maybe you pick up an instrument or something like that, because there's so much out there. And then there's this one George Carlin bit where he was joking about, I'm gonna have to pause again. Give me 1 second.